I always thought my life was perfect. My name is Sarah, and I married James 2 years ago. He is kind, handsome, and I loved him deeply. At first, everything was beautiful. We lived in a small, cozy house, and we were happy together. I thought I had found my true love. But there was one problem: James's parents. They live in the same city and often visit us. At first, I thought they were nice people, but slowly I noticed they were controlling. They always told me how to cook, how to clean, and even how to behave with James. I tried to be polite and do what they said, but they never seemed satisfied. One day, they said something that hurt me deeply. James and I were talking about a new house we wanted to buy. His mother laughed and said, "Sarah, you will never understand money. Leave it to James." I felt small, embarrassed, and angry. I tried to stay calm, but inside I was crying. James saw me, but he did not say anything. He only smiled and said, "Don't be upset. They only mean well." I wanted to scream. How could he defend his parents after they hurt me? I started noticing more things. His parents would ask James to make decisions without me. They made jokes about me being weak or too sensitive. Sometimes they said things about my family, which made me very angry. I wanted to speak up, but I was afraid it would create fights. I tried to ignore them, but it was impossible. Every visit became stressful. I thought James would protect me, but he seemed scared of them. I felt alone, even in my own marriage. I loved James, but I started to hate his parents. I began asking myself, can I ever forgive them? Then one evening, James went out with his friends. His parents came to our house unannounced. I was cooking in the kitchen, and they started criticizing everything: my cooking, my dress, even my voice. I tried to smile and stay calm, but inside I was breaking. That night, I cried alone in the bedroom and made a promise to myself. I will never forgive them for this. A few months later, I discovered something even worse. I was cleaning James's study when I found a letter. It was from a woman named Emma. The letter said things that made my heart stop. James was having an affair. I could not believe it. I confronted him that night. James tried to explain, but I was too angry to listen. He said, "It's not what you think. I love you, Sarah. I made a mistake." But the truth was clear. He had betrayed me, and I felt like my world had ended. Then I realized something even more painful. His parents knew about Emma. They did not tell me. They even laughed about it once in front of James when I was not in the room. How could they do this? They supported their son's betrayal and ignored my feelings. I felt trapped. Every memory of their smiles, their advice, and their visits became poison. I wanted to scream, but I knew nothing would change. James begged for forgiveness, but I could not forgive him or his parents. The people who were supposed to protect our marriage had destroyed it. I started spending more time outside the house, trying to avoid them. I met my friend Anna and told her everything. She cried with me. "Sarah, you don't deserve this. You need to think about yourself," she said. Her words gave me strength. I realized I could not depend on James or his parents. I had to protect my heart alone. Then came the worst night. James's parents invited me to dinner. I went because I wanted to keep peace. But they laughed at me and asked, "Sarah, why are you so upset? He is a man, he can do what he wants." That was the moment I understood. Their love for James was stronger than their respect for me. They were part of the betrayal. That night, I left the dinner early. I could not face them. I cried in the car and thought about my future. Could I stay in this marriage? Could I forgive James and his parents? My heart said no. I decided to fight for myself, even if it meant breaking my marriage. I realized something important: forgiveness. The next morning, I woke up with a heavy heart. I knew what I had to do. I could not live with James's parents controlling my life, laughing at me, and supporting betrayal. I decided to move out of the house. I packed my clothes and some important things quietly. I did not want to fight. I called Anna and asked for help. She welcomed me into her home. For the first time in months, I felt safe. When James came home, I told him I was leaving. His face turned pale. "Sarah, please don't do this. I love you," he said. I shook my head. "I cannot forgive you, and I cannot forgive your parents. I need to live my life without fear and sadness." James begged, cried, and promised to change. But I had already seen the truth. His parents would never accept me, and he could not stand up to them. I loved him once, but love is not enough when there is disrespect, betrayal, and hate. I stayed at Anna's house for a few weeks. I started working part-time and saved money. Every day, I felt stronger. I realized that leaving was not just about James. It was about protecting my heart. Then I received a message from James. He said his parents were upset with him, and that they blamed me for everything. I smiled bitterly. For years, they had controlled my life and my happiness. Now they were angry because I finally chose myself. I thought about confronting them one last time. I called his mother and said, "I am leaving this house and this family. I will never forgive you for what you have done. Please do not contact me." She laughed and said, "You are too sensitive. He will come back." I hung up. Their words no longer mattered. I knew the road ahead would be difficult. I had lost my husband, my home, and a dream of a happy life. But I had gained something more valuable, my freedom and self-respect. I decided to focus on myself, my career, and my happiness. Months passed. Life became easier, and my heart started to heal. I learned to live without James and his parents. I met new people, made friends, and focused on my dreams. I learned that happiness comes from respect, love, and trust, not from controlling people or betrayal. I still remember the pain of that marriage, the betrayal, and the hurtful words from James's parents. Sometimes, late at night, I think about forgiveness. But I know I cannot forgive them. Forgiveness is for those who are truly sorry. And they were not. They never cared about my feelings. I started a new job and rented a small apartment. I decorated it myself and felt proud. Every item reminded me that this was my life and my choice. I did not need anyone's approval or permission anymore. One day, I met someone new. His name is David. He is kind, respectful, and treats me as an equal. We became friends first, and slowly, I learned to trust again. He never tried to control me, and he never judged me for my past. With him, I found a safe place for my heart. I still remember James sometimes. I wonder if he changed. But I also know that some people never change. His parents, for example, will always be the same: cruel, controlling, and selfish. I do not need them in my life. I have chosen freedom and respect over lies and betrayal. Now I am happy. I smile without fear, I speak without anxiety, and I love without regret. I learned an important lesson. You cannot change everyone, and you cannot forgive everyone. Some people are not meant to be in your life. It is okay to walk away, to protect yourself, and to choose your happiness. And so, I live my life freely, with courage, self-respect, and hope. I cannot forgive James's parents, and I never will. But I have forgiven myself for staying too long. And I have learned to love myself first. That is my greatest victory.